people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Brian Custer, Mauro Ranallo joined Prime Video boxing platform. This is the first we've heard about a broadcast team. You know, who's going to be calling these PBC shows, these PBC fights happening on the Amazon platform? Brian Custer, a familiar face, we all know, used to be on Showtime. Amazon Prime Video's boxing venture will debut later on this month with an abundance of institutional knowledge. Behind the microphones, Boxing Scene learned Tuesday that host Brian Custer and play-by-play broadcaster Mauro Ranallo, who long served at Showtime Boxing, will return to those roles when Prime Video launches its first boxing card March 30th, a pay-per-view headlined by Tim Tszyu and now Sebastian Fundoria. The remaining boxing crew is expected to be formally announced in the coming days, according to a boxing official who spoke to Boxing Scene on the condition of anonymity because contracts remained unsigned. Custer and Ranallo provide familiar faces for Prime Video, which will return May 4th with undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez defending his 4 belts against his Mexican countryman Jaime Munguia. Gervonta Tank Davis and David Benavidez are due to fight in separate bouts on a June 15th show, also set for Las Vegas. The lively and witty Ranallo, known to sprinkle in his patented Mamma Mia phrase when the action intensifies, is a veteran of combat sports action, having called MMA and professional wrestling, along with a slew of major broadcast cards on Showtime
boxing matches.
So it would seem they're gathering the old crew. They're migrating from Showtime over to Amazon Prime, which was rumored that the people at the PBC would do their best to bring the old team back for a sense of continuity. After Showtime ceased its boxing coverage at the end of last year and Al Heyman's Premier Boxing Champions aligned with Prime Video, which offers a massive subscriber base and worldwide reach.
Though it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Boxing insider Rick Glacier said at yesterday's Canelo vs. Munguia press conference at the iconic Beverly Hills Hotel, there was no Amazon representative there. That's very telling and does not bode well for the PBC or boxing on Amazon Prime. And DAZN, they sent 3 reps.
Both Amazon and DAZN will be distributing this pay-per-view.
There's a feeling that due to the lack of promotion for what was supposed to be Tszyu versus Thurman, now Tszyu versus Fundora,
the lack of promotion for that show,
and the lack of representatives at the press conference for this one, that Amazon is more or less non-committal to this endeavor into the world of boxing. They're just experimenting, feeling things out.
It doesn't look good.
I can't say that since the March 30th show was announced that I've seen anything in terms of promotion for the show from Amazon. We've seen PBC fighters trying to promote it via their social media, and we've seen the PBC's own social media promoting the show, but nothing from Amazon.
And now this.
They didn't send any representatives. Rick Glacier, he got some pushback on that, some who questioned the legitimacy of what he was saying, but so far, Rick's sources,
his inside intel has checked out. When he said that the Charlo fight wouldn't happen, it didn't.
When he said there was a money issue, there was. And when he said that Canelo is not going to fight Charlo, he's likely going to fight Jaime Munguia next, he was right.
And yet he's still getting pushback from the usual suspects.
Those guys just don't like being wrong. As it pertains to the Canelo Alvarez versus Jaime Munguia fight, it appears it seems to come with a rare rematch clause.
What do you mean rare? Practically every high-profile fight has a rematch clause these days.
There's nothing rare about it. Should Jaime Munguia pull off the upset and beat Canelo Alvarez on May 4th, an immediate rematch will likely follow in September, around Mexican Independence Day weekend. Zamford Promotions head and Munguia co-promoter Fernando Beltran told Boxing Scene. Alvarez's manager, trainer, and lifelong confidant, Eddie Reynoso, told Boxing Scene in a recent interview that Canelo previously actually had rematch clauses in contracts only for fights against Floyd Mayweather and Julio Cesar Chavez.
Alvarez is currently the betting favorite, according to DraftKings.
I guess when Manuka Kopiang wrote up this article, he meant that rematch clauses are rare for Canelo Alvarez, because everywhere else in the world of boxing we look, there's a rematch clause. I mean, there's a rematch clause in the Fury versus Usyk fight. That's got a rematch clause. Anthony Joshua's fights always have rematch clauses. So rematch clauses in and of themselves, they're not actually rare.
Just for Canelo, I guess.
Fernando Beltran, Eddie Reynoso, and PBC-affiliated executive Luis de Cubas Jr. aligned to make the fight happen after Alvarez severed his 3-fight deal with the PBC, following just a single fight, a unanimous decision win over Jermell Charlo back in September. Not only did Alvarez reunite with the PBC, but he's also facing a fighter promoted by Golden Boy, which, at least to me, begs the question, then what does he need the PBC for? What does he need from them? If they're not even providing the opponent.
Golden Boy's providing the opponent.
What do you need from Al Heyman? What do you need from Luis de Cubas Jr.? What do you need from the PBC?
I still don't get it.
I gave Eddie Reynoso my word and told him that I would not be complicated during negotiations, Fernando Beltran said. I was a gentleman. We gave each other our word, and here we are. Both Munguia and Golden Boy trusted me during negotiations. As soon as Eddie and I talked, the fight was easy to make. Two Mexicans are easy to deal with. The rematch is the only clause in the contract, and only in the case of Jaime wins or if there is a draw. The All-Mexico matchup will headline a Cinco de Mayo weekend showdown and mark just the second time since the 2017 Chavez fight that Alvarez has fought against a fellow countryman.
A lot of people are making light of how Canelo Alvarez initially said he doesn't want to fight his countrymen. He doesn't want to fight a fellow Mexican, but now he is.
He changed his mind. You haven't ever changed your mind?
How is that a big deal?
Weren't you guys criticizing him for saying that he doesn't want to fight his countrymen so that when he does, you can bellyache about that?
Fucking miserable.
When you're the face of boxing like Canelo is, he can pick any opponent he likes, Beltran said. We admire him. He's done a lot for Mexico and a lot for the sport. We've been very respectful towards him. To be the best, you need to beat the best, and that's what we wanted.
That's why we wanted the fight.
We always asked for the fight with a lot of respect. We were not saying differently. Unlike some people, we were respectful of Canelo. That's the reason why we are in front of him right now. Jaime has all the credentials to be in the ring with Canelo.
You see that?
I do. I know what they're hinting at. I know what Fernando was talking about. That unlike David Benavidez and his team, who have spent a lot of time talking down Canelo, trashing him, calling him names, Jaime Munguia never resorted to that. And Jaime Munguia is the one who ended up getting the fight.
Without condoning or condemning.
A Canelo Alvarez fight, for any fighter at or around these weights, is tantamount to a sweepstakes, a favor, because win or lose, and you are likely to lose, you get to make a lot of money, more money than you'd make with anyone else.
So when you trash him,
when you publicly badmouth him the way that Team Benavidez has been badmouthing him, you can hardly expect Canelo Alvarez to do them a favor, and that's what that would be, because you're not indispensable. There are any number of guys that are willing to stand in your place. Jaime Munguia is one of them, and Jaime, unlike David and his team, Jaime never trashed Canelo. He never took shots at him.
I'm not telling you to like it.
I'm not telling you to agree with that rationale so much as that seems to be the situation.
Team Benavidez thinks they're irreplaceable.
They're not. Fuck it up for yourself. There's always somebody else.
Sí, pues yo creo que ustedes son los que hacen ahí el este y el este. O sea, escucho un nombre ya y, o sea, y está bien.
¿Berlanga estuvo cerca o no?
La verdad que
en la mesa, pues.
me ofrecieron, obviamente me ofrecieron, pero para mí nunca fue algo como así, no es atractivo para mí.
For our non-Spanish speaking subscribers, what Canelo was asked was the Berlanga fight, the Edgar Berlanga fight, ever close? And Canelo said, well, it was offered to him, it was on the table, but it was not an attractive fight to him.
Verdad que no, nunca fue atractivo. La pelea de Charlo estaba en la mesa también, pero tampoco fue muy atractiva. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué fue no muy atractiva? Porque lo que pasó con su hermano, la pelea que dio su hermano, entonces como que la gente no lo veía tan atractivo y al final de cuentas.
He also said that the Charlo fight, it was on the table, but it was not an attractive fight due to how Jermell's brother Jermell performed. It's not a fight that people found attractive. It's not a fight that he found attractive.
Estoy involucrado en cada detalle de las negociaciones que se hacen. Creo que la mejor opción era Jaime Munguia y por eso decidimos hacer esta pelea con Jaime.
He said that he is very much involved in his negotiations, and that's why they felt it best to take on Jaime Munguia. That was the best choice.
Oye, ahí estaba, se quedó en el tintero Benavidez. ¿Está fuera del radar de Canelo Álvarez, David Benavidez? Definitivamente.
Sí, definitivamente. Creo que ya no tiene sentido que hablen de él. ¿Por qué te voy a decir? Porque no viene a ofrecerme nada en la mesa Benavidez, más que 25 libras más que yo el día de la pelea.
Chava asked him about a David Benavidez fight. Is he outside of Canelo Alvarez's radar? In so many words, Canelo said that he is, that he doesn't bring anything to the table outside of 25 pounds, an extra 25 pounds the night of the fight.
Ahora, soy una persona también negociante. Si vienen y me ofrecen $200 millones, mañana la...
Canelo insisted that he is open to negotiate. If somebody wants to come along, offer him $200 million or something like that for a fight like that, he'll fight him tomorrow.
Isn't that asking price a little bit steep?
I think it is, though at the same time, I don't think he's being literal, that it's $200 million or nothing, $200 million or don't go down. I just think he's throwing numbers out there.
It's hypothetical, not literal.
Okay, to piggyback off the offer, were you ever offered anything from Benavidez camp?
Nothing. And who is he for offering me?
The question was a direct question, and the answer was simple enough. He was never offered anything to fight David Benavidez, never offered anything by Al Heyman, which corroborates reports from weeks ago.
Dan Rafael reported last month that David Benavidez was never part of Canelo Alvarez's three-fight deal.
Eddie Reynoso stated they were never offered any money for a David Benavidez fight by Al Heyman or anybody else, and Canelo Alvarez, he's saying the same.
The money. Who is he?
It was said that it was 55.
Yeah, but who is he to offer me?
Canelo Alvarez's rhetorical question will be lost on his critics and lost to the layman that doesn't understand. Samson Lukowicz is in no position to offer Canelo Alvarez anything because he doesn't have anything.
We went over this.
Samson doesn't broker deals with platforms. He doesn't broker deals with networks. The guys who bankroll his fights are the guys at the PBC.
Al Heyman.
And the story is, Al Heyman never offered Canelo a David Benavidez fight.
And if he offered that amount, he said that amount I can make with anybody.
Sampson claimed that they offered Canelo something to the tune of $55 or $60 million. Canelo's saying, hypothetically, he's making that already without David.
So that's nothing.
You don't think that's the one of the biggest fights that can be made?
I don't. Maybe, who knows? But you know, he brings nothing to the table for me.
He doesn't. He doesn't bring a belt.
Don't pretend that it's a legacy fight, because it's not. The Miguel Cotto fight, the Golovkin fight, those were legacy fights.
The undisputed run at super middleweight, that was for legacy. David is just the guy who's got his hand out.
Talking shit.
Another PBC hype job.
He brings just 25 pounds more in the night, the fight on the night. That's it. But if some promoter, not him, because he's nothing to offer me.
Once again, people aren't going to understand that.
But I do, because I'm smarter than most people. Smarter than you that's listening to this video.
What the fuck can Samson Lukowicz offer Canelo Alvarez? Where would he even presume to get the money from? What are you offering him? What he brings to the table? The money that he generates?
Anything. He's nothing to offer me money, you know. I'm the one.
Canelo continued, if some promoter, not him being Samson Lukowicz because he has nothing to offer me, if some promoter offers me $150 million or $200 million, then I'll fight tomorrow. That's the only reason I'd fight with him.
A lot of people are taking that and running with it.
The same people who ignore that Canelo Alvarez said he was never offered anything to fight David,
They ignore that.
they'll run with this, even though it's from the same set of quotes, it's from the same string of videos, cherry-picking what parts you want to use for your narrative,
They don't want to acknowledge it.
but they'll acknowledge this,
Oh.
that he threw that number out there, 150, 200 million, that if some promoter has that kind of money for him, sure he'll fight the guy.
No promoters have that kind of money, though.
I can think of at least one person who does, a certain financier over there in Saudi Arabia, Mr. Turki Al-Sheikh.
I don't understand.
Canelo's arrangement with the PBC has basically been restructured. It went from being a 3-fight deal with 2 fights left to just being a one-fight deal, a one-off.
He'll be a free agent after the Munguia fight.
Free to negotiate with anyone for any dollar amount. Free to negotiate with a Turkey al-Sheikh, for example.
People are gonna take that figure literally, though.
Between $150 and $200 million, people are going to take those numbers and run with them.
They already have.
But I ain't got no time for those people, because what you notice about those people is they want to argue.
They want a bellyache. They want a bitch. They want to moan.
They ignore relevant details and relevant reports, even when the reports suggest that Al Heyman never actually offered Canelo Alvarez a David Benavidez fight.
They ignore that Matchroom offered to pay for the fight and Sampson screwed the pooch.
Demanding the U.S. rights to a Canelo fight.
Yes,
If
but
you say anything different,
it
he's
is
lying to you.
But it's reported that you asked for the U.S. television rights.
And he went, yes, no problem, just give us the US TV on Amazon. I'm like, what?
That's correct.
Okay, you know you killing the fight. How the hell is the Zone gonna pay Canelo, but you gonna get the U.S. rights?
Do Ryan Garcia?
Their arguments are tailored, structured in such a way as to ignore many relevant details, many relevant aspects of what's been going on, to only focus on what suits their argument.
But they want to argue with me and you.
I don't think it's at all a coincidence that these are the same people that were propping up Deontay Wilder, the same people that were propping up Errol Spence Jr. I don't think it's a coincidence that many of these mongoloids are big PBC fans.
They haven't learned yet.
How has propping up PBC fighters, has that been working out for you? Guys like Deontay Wilder, guys like Stephen Fulton, guys like Errol, Keith Thurman, how's that been working out for you?
And now you're propping up David Benavidez, huh?
Now you want me to believe that Canelo's scared of the big bad Benavidez, like Terrence was supposed to be scared of Errol, right?
Now he's scared of Boots.
Canelo's scared of David.
He's supposed to be.
Do you guys ever get tired of being wrong about everything? I mean, do you get tired? Do you get fatigued from being wrong so often?
You should.
I don't fucking listen to you guys. You don't know the ball from the bounce. You don't know shit.
Near as I can tell, you're angry at Canelo Alvarez over a fight that Al Heyman never offered him.
He goes to a Matchroom, they offer him an Edgar Berlanga. He goes to the PBC, they offer him both Charlo brothers and Errol Spence Jr. But David...
They didn't offer him David.
You don't want to believe Canelo Alvarez when he says that.
But you want me to believe Samson Lukowicz.
The same Samson Lukowicz that said last year they signed a contract to fight David Morrell just for his own fighter to call it fake news, essentially exposing him.
Just for Samson to come out and say the real reason that fight didn't happen was because he blocked it.
This is who you want me to believe.
You fucking idiots are always looking for a new angle to say the same fucking shit.
I do not believe Samson Lukowicz. I don't believe David is special just because he has a habit of outsizing guys.
He's not special.
Canelo can fight him, or he can not fight him. But I reiterate, David ain't special, so it's no big deal.
PBC fighters are never a big deal.